Throughout history, our Catholic Church, we've heard lots of stories about saints and that have talked about adoration and that. I'm not going to do that today. What I'd like to do is I'd like to talk a little bit about why I enjoy adoration and why I think it's so important for all Catholics to participate in adoration. The problem is, though, this modern time, it seems like everything's moving so fast and there's so much technology in that distracts you from sitting and being patient in that. And these things are things that have bothered me too. It's easy to sit and watch a football game, watch a movie, do all those things, but then to spend 15 minutes in adoration, for a lot of us, it seems like forever. And that shouldn't be that way. Yet at the same time, in my youth, I felt the same way. And what I've noticed over time is that as I got more into the Catholic Church and more I learned about what it means, adoration and that we're paying reverence to the body and blood of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Eucharist, the real body, the real soul. And so as I've done that, I've sat down and I've thought a little bit about, well, what does that mean to me? What do I want to do about that? And I guess the best thing to say is that working over time, I've kind of developed into a process. All right. When I first came into the church, I was afraid of the Eucharist and that. I had a lot of fear. But that fear wasn't like something that you're afraid is going to hurt you in that. The fear was that I'm not worthy enough to receive the Eucharist. And as I've gone on and on, I still have that feeling, that fear, that reverence for the Eucharist, even today. And in doing that, I found out that we need to spend time. And so we come to Mass, we have the Eucharist, it's in us, we're in Him. And people sit there and they say, and God's everywhere. But God is present in the Eucharist. So when you come in, you see the tabernacle, God's presence there. When you see the monstrance, God is there. And it's our chance to sit there and talk face to face with Christ and to let him know how we feel in that as we go through different phases. As I sit in front of the monstrance, I just visualize that I'm looking at Christ. I'm talking, giving me my heart. But the biggest thing that I've learned to do is listen, just to be silent. When I have the opportunity to do adoration for several hours in that, I bring books, I bring other things that I'm curious about, I want to get more insight into. And I'll read a little passage, and I'll sit there, and I'll contemplate. I'll discern what I read, and hopefully I'll hear a voice in my mind that'll give me some ideas of what's going on. And finally, as I get older, and some days, I'm going to be in the presence of Christ. And I don't want to go there and Christ sit there and say, I'm finally glad to meet you, Ed. What I want to do is I want to go there and then be there and say, I'm glad for all the conversations we had, all the talks. I'm glad to do it in person now with you, as we did on earth. So if you can, take a few minutes, 15 minutes with Christ. It doesn't have to be a monstrance, it could be the tabernacle. Take a few minutes after Mass. You just took communion. Christ is in you, and now you can talk with him at the tabernacle. If you get the chance to go to where there's a monstrance, a chance where you can go in and just physically talk to Christ. And like I said earlier, I get more out of listening because his wisdom is much more than mine. So if you get a chance, please try it. Thank you.